Everyone, welcome to Barca News. It's August 4th, 2026, and Manchester City have paused negotiations with Real Madrid for Rodri, awaiting Barcelona. I'm going to tell you what that actually means. Also, Barcelona are set to meet with Julian Alvarez's agents. I'm going to tell you why. And finally, Ferran Torres making contract demands. Yes, the guy scores one goal in the entire World Cup. And all of a sudden, he thinks he's Holland. We have a lot to discuss. So let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Mo, and welcome to a quick live to give you all Barcelona news. This is not a podcast, so unfortunately I will not be reading your comments and reacting to them live, but I will be reading them, just not reacting to them live. Of course, tomorrow, Wednesday, we do have podcast day, so tomorrow I will read your comments and react to them live. Now, quick reminder, the raffle for the Barcelona away kit is live. Head to the Instagram page, the channel's Instagram page, in order to join the raffle, which I will be announcing the winner on Friday during Friday's podcast. So head to Barca News' Instagram channel. The link is in the YouTube description where all the links are. I showed how to get there during yesterday's podcast. Anyways, let's begin with the news because, ladies and gentlemen, as I stated prior, Barcelona are currently negotiating with Al Hilal for the signing of Joao Cancelo. Of course, Cancelo wants to come to Barcelona. Barcelona want to sign him after the very impressive loan that he had last season. But of course, the only obstacle was Al Hilal, where initially Al Hilal wanted 15 million euros for Cancelo, but Barcelona were not willing to pay that. And well, after lots of posturing, after a lot of back and forth, Barcelona are now in advanced negotiations with Al Hilal to sign the Portuguese fullback, and we have more details about what that contract will look like. Now, it looks like Cancelo will be signing a 2-year contract, 2 seasons at Barcelona, where it's not too clear whether it's 2 seasons or 1+1. We just know it's 2 in total. If I had to guess, I would say 2 seasons, not 1+1. I just don't see Cancelo wanting to sign just a 1-year contract with an option to extend for another one. I don't know. It seems too risky of a move to move all the way to Barcelona only after a season leaving. But again, we don't know for sure. I'm sure we'll find out more details. But it would be a 2-season contract, and Barcelona would pay 8 million euros plus variables, which to me I think is a great deal. I know. Al Hilal wanted 15 and Barcelona were only willing to pay 5. But of course, a good deal is when, well, all parties feel like they've been screwed, right? Al Hilal, they're going to feel like they're screwed because they got 8 instead of 15. Barcelona's going to feel screwed because they paid 8 instead of 5. I think that's what negotiation is all about, finding middle ground where both parties, sacrifice a little bit in order to meet somewhere in the middle. I'm glad that Barcelona didn't just, just accept what Al Hilal were demanding and that they actually negotiated a lower figure. Even though, to be honest, if Barcelona would have paid the 15 million that Al Hilal were asking for, I still would have thought it was a good deal because given Cancelo's performance last season, 15 million euros for an experienced fullback like him with the quality that he has, it still would have been a good deal. But of course, 8 million is much better than 15 million because that's 7 million euros worth of savings. But anyways, Barcelona are currently in the final stretch of these negotiations. So hopefully we're going to hear a pretty an official announcement from Barcelona pretty soon. Like I said, this is going to happen. It's just a matter of time. So, whether it happens tomorrow, next week, as long as it happens before the market closes, I'm happy. There's no rush, but Cancelo is coming to Barcelona. Now, speaking of Manchester City players, because Cancelo was a Manchester City player at some point, we do have to talk about Rodri, because today Fabrizio Romano and other reporters stating that Manchester City have paused negotiations with Real Madrid for Rodri, awaiting Barcelona's offer. Now, as you know, a lot of reports came out, I think it was a week or 2 ago, about Barcelona inquiring about the situation of Rodri. Of course, Rodri's contract expires next summer. He's not willing to renew at Manchester City. He wants to go back to Spain, his home country. So Barcelona, of course, picked up the phone, called, hey, what's going on? Just to inquire. And of course, the rumor mill took that inquiry call and turned it into actual interest that Barcelona were trying to sign Rodri, that Barcelona were trying to hijack Rodri from Real Madrid. And I came here and I told you, look, guys, there's no truth to that. As far as I know, Barcelona are not looking to sign a midfielder. That was just a simple inquiry, and that Rodri was going to most likely end up at Real Madrid. And well, lo and behold, Rodri seems like he has reached an agreement with Real Madrid. Right now, the only thing standing in the way of his move to the Spanish capital is an agreement between Madrid and Manchester City in regards to the transfer fee. And then today, of course, Fabrizio Romano reporting that City have paused those negotiations, awaiting Barcelona. So, of course, you might say, Mo, you told us that Barcelona are not looking to sign Rodri. Why is Manchester City putting their negotiations on hold? Well, let me clarify. Like I said, Barcelona did make an inquiry. That doesn't mean Barcelona are looking to negotiate or looking to enter a bidding war with Real Madrid. Barcelona think, obviously, that Rodri is an incredible midfielder. Who doesn't? He's probably the best defensive midfielder in the world right now. Not probably, he is. And Barcelona would be interested in signing him, but only if three things are met. One, that Rodri would want to come to Barca, which that's not the case. He wants Madrid and Madrid only. That two, if the price is right, they're saying City would want around 70 million euros. I don't think Barcelona would be willing to pay that, especially for a midfielder where we have so many. And three, if a midfielder leaves, which it doesn't look like it's going to happen. So none of these three are being met, and therefore Barcelona are not looking to make a move for Rodri. So why is City pausing negotiations awaiting Barcelona? I think it's just a tactic in order to drive the price up. And this is very important for everyone to understand, because it seems like this summer, everybody's using Barcelona to negotiate better contracts, better transfer fees, better salaries, etc. Starting with Dumfries. He offered himself to Barcelona. Barcelona said, only if someone leaves, because we have Koundé, we have Eric Garcia, we have Xavi Espart, and we have Hector Fort coming back from loan. So if someone leaves, we'll give you a call. And that's it. He signed for Madrid. And all of a sudden, people were like, wow, look at Madrid. They're so shrewd. They took away a signing from Barcelona. And it's like, no, they didn't take away anything. He offered himself. We said no. He went to Madrid. Bernardo Silva, he offered himself. Barcelona said, look, if a midfielder leaves, we'll give you a call. Next thing you know, he signs for Madrid. And again, like, wow, Florentino Perez, such a shrewd negotiator, steals another signing from Barca. Nope. We were never trying to sign him. Cucurella, he offers himself to Barcelona. Same thing. Barcelona said, look, we have Valde. We're trying to sign Cancelo. If someone leaves, we'll give you a call. He signs for Madrid. And people are like, wow, Barcelona, Madrid again, steal from Barcelona. Nobody stole anything from us, ladies and gentlemen. These are players that offered themselves. Barcelona said, no, thank you. So they went to Madrid. Good luck at Madrid. Here, Rodri didn't offer himself, but Barcelona simply made an inquiry. And now it looks like City are trying to use that to drive his price up. So please, for the rest of the clubs, players, please stop using Barcelona in your negotiations. We're not interested, and that's okay, right? But stop using Barcelona's name, because then when the players make a move to another club, all of a sudden everybody's talking about how Madrid stole signings away from us. Madrid didn't steal shit from us, okay? But anyways, on to the next bit of news, because, ladies and gentlemen, Barcelona are set to meet with the agents of Julian Alvarez. Now, as you know by now, Julian remains Barcelona's main target, the number one target for that center forward position to replace Lewandowski. Of course, as I told you before, if Barcelona cannot sign Julian, they're not going to sign anyone else, because they consider that the options that are left on the list are not good enough to replace Lewandowski, so they're not looking to just rush and sign anyone just to fill the position and then be stuck with that player for the next 4 or 5 years. So, of course, Barcelona are still going to try to sign Julian, and since Atletico Madrid are still in the position that Julian is not for sale, Barcelona will be meeting with Julian's agents this week in order to come up with a strategy to ensure the move of Julian from Atletico Madrid to Barcelona. And it seems that one of the things that Barcelona want to discuss is that they want Julian to make another public statement. Of course, Julian did make statements during the World Cup saying that he wants a transfer out of Atletico Madrid in order to fulfill his dream. He didn't say what his dream was. He didn't say what club he wanted to play at, even though we all knew what club he wanted to play at, which is Barca. But now Barcelona want Julian to be kind of like more assertive and come out and not only say he wants to leave, but to say that he only wants to join Barca and Barca alone. So that's going to be discussed during this meeting with Julian's agent and, of course, other kind of strategies on how to make this move happen. And my question to you is, do you think Julian will make it to Barcelona, or do you think he's going to stay at Atletico Madrid? Let me know down below in the comment section. And then the last thing about Julian, there are reports stating that Barcelona would be even willing to increase their offer from 100 million to 115. As far as I know, from the sources that I know, Barcelona are not looking to increase their offer since Atletico Madrid have not responded to it. And, well, I hope that is true because, as someone who negotiates for a living, rule number one of negotiations, you never negotiate against yourself, right? You make an offer. If the other person declines it, then maybe you go up. But you don't make an offer and then you go up without hearing a response, right? It's, you don't negotiate against yourself. But anyways, we're going to have to wait and see what the outcome of this meeting is and whether this meeting will be successful in bringing Julian to Barca or whether Julian ends up staying at Atletico Madrid. Now, let's end today's video with more statements from Ferran Torres, who scored 1 goal in the entire World Cup, and now he thinks he's Erling Haaland and that he can just, demand whatever he wants and that clubs, have to bow to him and beg him to play for them because, he's just that good, right? Because yesterday, of course, we discussed his statements at the Today Show. Ferran Torres is currently here in the U.S. doing a tour. He went to the Today Show. He said that he had a contract with Barca, but things can change and that he's still thinking about it, kind of like leaving the door open to an exit, but at the same time, leaving the door open to staying. And of course, I said, I think this is Ferran Torres trying to use PSG's interest in order to drive Barcelona's offer up. Because as we know, Barcelona want to renew Ferran Torres, but the numbers that were being discussed, it's not something that Ferran liked. Ferran was demanding a lot more money, which Barcelona were not willing to offer him because, they were offering him a contract that was, anchored in reality, a contract that is worthy of Ferran, which is a second striker. And I don't mean a second striker is in a position, second striker, but a substitute, right? Because Ferran is Ferran. And apparently everybody knows what he's capable of except himself. He thinks he's all of a sudden the best striker in the world. So my opinion was that Ferran Torres was simply just trying to, entice Barcelona to up their offer with the threat of leaving. And, well, later that day or last night, he went to CNN and he gave another interview where he discussed his future at Barcelona. And, well, this is what Ferran had to say. And brace yourselves because you are going to laugh. Ferran Torres said, Barcelona have to show they want me. They can come and negotiate. And in the end, everything will be discussed. Okay, if you didn't fall on your ass laughing right now, then you probably don't have a sense of humor. But Barcelona have to show they want me. Who the fuck does this guy think he is? But anyways, let's continue. Right now, the only thing I know is that on August 12th, I have to be there and train with them. So we'll see what happens. You never know because in football, everything can change in a minute. So I have to be prepared for everything. I'm trying to think about what will make me happiest. That's all, me and my family. Barcelona have to show they want me. Again, I'll ask the same question. Who the fuck does this guy think he is? Because he's been at Barcelona for 4.5 seasons. The first 2.5, he didn't do absolutely nothing. And these last 2, he did a correct performance. Not a great, exceptional, not a bad one, but his job. He did his job. And all of a sudden now he thinks that Barcelona have to beg him, to show him that they love him. And it's like, Ferran, my friend, like I said during yesterday's podcast, you need to come back down to earth and understand what kind of player you are. And you are the typical player that kills it at a mid-club, Valencia, attracts the attention of big clubs because of your good performance at that mid-table team. And then all of a sudden, when you make it to a big club, you show your true colors that you're not that good. It happened to you at ManCity. That's why you ended up on the bench. It happened to you at Barcelona. That's why you've been the substitute and not the starter. And it happened to you with the Spanish national team, where you're also a substitute behind Mikel Oyarzabal, which I know a lot of people are talking about, oh, Barcelona should sign him, but it's Mikel Oyarzabal, a 6 out of 10 striker. So why do you think, my friend, that all of a sudden Barcelona should beg you to stay when you're nothing more than a bench warmer at a big club, maybe a star at a mid-table club? But Barcelona are not a mid-table club. The second thing you need to understand is that the only reason you're at Barcelona is by pure luck, by pure circumstances. Because when Barcelona signed you, Mr. Ferran, Barcelona were incredibly broke. They were on the verge of bankruptcy. They had a project that was deteriorating because everybody was old as fuck and Messi had just left. And the only option that Barcelona could afford to rebuild their project was you. Any other time in history, Barcelona wouldn't have even taken a second look at you because you are not Barca level. The only reason you're at Barcelona because Barcelona signed you during very dark times, just like Braithwaite. So why the fuck do you think that Barcelona should beg you to stay? If you want to go somewhere else, please do. In fact, I really hope you do, because I've been want you out of this club since day one, because you were never good enough and you're still not good enough. But anyways, Barcelona are reportedly unfazed by Ferran Torres' statements. Obviously, they don't like it, but it's reported that Barcelona are not gonna make him a substantial increase in the offer. Barcelona is gonna maintain that the offer that they had made to him before all these statements, and I hope that remains true, because Barcelona need to understand what kind of player Ferran is, and well, offer him a contract that's according to his status. A substitute. That is it. Now, it's reported that Mateo Moreto has reported that PSG feel very optimistic and very confident that they can close this deal. In fact, they're trying to do it before Ferran has to return to Barcelona. And well, to them I say, good luck. Please take him away, because this clown who went the entire month of January, February, and March without scoring a single goal, and when he finally scored in April, went up to the stands, to the fans, and say this and like, shut up, like now talk. Are you fucking kidding me? You ghost for 3 months, and then all of a sudden you score a goal and you want to go up to the fans and act like you've been scoring this whole time, and how dare they talk shit about you when you've been performing? You're a fucking clown. Now, some reporters, by the way, have gone in the past and dug up past interview when he was at Valencia. And guess what? At 20 years old, he did exactly the same to Valencia, his boyhood club. He said that he wanted to renew, but that they needed to show him more love, that he needed to be the captain. And that is why he left. And that's exactly what he's doing to us right now. But guess what, Ferran? We're not Valencia. We're Barcelona. We said goodbye to the greatest player in the history of the sport, Lionel Andres Messi. You think we're going to shed a tear over you, a second-tier striker? Get the fuck out of here. Anyways, that is all, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, and as always, peace, Barca.